Your comments make the show better. Send us your thoughts live on our Facebook channel to be the star of today's show. Can't catch us live? Hit us up on our other social media channels to have your say. For now, welcome to the Rod Peterson Show.
Hey, good morning, Canada. Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to your favorite sports talk show, Canada's only mid-morning coffee program for sports. How you doing? I'm Rod Peterson. Oh, he's our co-host, Darren DuPont. How you doing, Dupes?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
I'm Simon. He's Simon. Together, we're Simon and Simon. You have no idea what that show is, do you?
No.
I meant to pull a photo. Can you guys Google it in the back? Simon and Simon? I used to love that show. You could call this a Football Monday, or as Mike Abu-Meshrik coined the term months ago, Bomber Monday. Congratulations to our friends, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And I just realized that's why you're wearing blue and gold today.
I got it decked out today.
In honor of the bomb.
Yeah.
The bomb squad.
At the support. You okay over there?
I just broke my mic stand. New record, less than a minute into the program. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are Grey Cup champions. Do not adjust your sets. It did pass spell check. They beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the 107th Grey Cup 33-12 at Calgary's McMahon Stadium yesterday. And we've got an all-time high viewers checking in this morning on our Facebook wall as we set sail here on our post-Grey Cup week. And what'd you say, Clark? Oh, he's got a phone. He found it already. Here's Simon and Simon. Can you put Simon and Simon?
Okay.
Look at those guys. I really like the guy on the right the most out of the two Simon brothers. Simon and Simon. There you don't remember that show?
No, but
one of the greatest theme songs ever.
It's a great shot.
Thank you, Clark, for digging that up, or whomever was responsible on the other side of the wall. Mapping out the program today, a big CFL show and some NFL as well. Bakari Grant announcing his retirement from the CFL, former Rough Rider, Ticat, Stampeder, Shweezy, the Cali Kid, as we like to call him. Bakari Grant will be joining us from SoCal this morning. Keon Raymond, Stampeder's Grey Cup champion. He announced some news on Saturday at a news conference of Grey Cup week. Keon's going to come on here live from Calgary this morning to talk about that. Our director of scouting, Craig Smith, will be with us. Amanda Ruler, overall badass Amanda Ruler, will be here. She was very active on Twitter yesterday. I'm going to tell you who wasn't in a minute. And our NFL insider, Jim Lang, coming up because interesting Sunday in the National Football League. Week 12, wasn't it? Wasn't it week 12? Grey Cup. I picked the Bombers to win. You didn't.
I did not.
And that's cool. I did not expect they were going to come out and just absolutely brutalize the Hamilton Tiger Cats from the coin toss to the final gun. They kicked their ass. Up and down the field.
And that's putting it mildly.
Yep.
Wow.
And when the Ticats, was it not the opening drive that they fumbled and Big Hill recovered it?
Yeah.
Already in the red zone, I'm like, this is going to be their day. Very similar to the 2013 Grey Cup when Durant fumbled the ball right into Sheets' hands. Right?
Yep.
It's going to be the Riders' day that day. It was the Bombers' day yesterday. We couldn't be happier for them. We've heard from all kinds of Winnipeg people this morning. They're lighting up our Facebook wall today. And I say kudos again to Winnipeg. I had said all year, while I poked a lot of stuff at him, a lot of junk, that's what I do over here, did say going into the season that they're the best team in the CFL. The only thing that can stop them is
themselves.
And they almost did.
Almost.
They really tried to almost screw it up, but they didn't. And they're Grey Cup champions, and hashtag 1990 is over. The drought is over, and I couldn't be happier for all those guys, which, by the way, which we'll get into today. Our director of scouting, Craig Smith, will have a lot of thoughts on this. They might blow the whole damn thing up after this. Like, if Mike O'Shea really wants to go to Toronto, as is the rumor, and his son's playing at Guelph, with the Griffins, Mike Jr., like, at least it's go with our blessing, Mike.
Yeah.
At least he's not going with his tail between his legs out of town.
No.
He's going as a champion, and he's earned whatever he wants.
Very Kawhi Leonard-like.
Very Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, how could you be mad at him?
We just came back, and I just won you a championship for the first time in 30 years. Like, okay, what else do you want?
What else do you want? I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Pulls the Bring Griffiths or the Barry Trotz. Wins the Stanley Cup with the Washington Capitals, moves on to the New York Islanders. It's not unheard of.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily time to talk about that. But that troika of Matt Nichols, Zach Collaros, and Chris Streveler. They're not all going to be around as much as they probably want to be. Now, listen, today's a day to celebrate the Bombers win, not talk about the future for them. Listen, Chad Hildred writing in on the Facebook wall. He says, Brandon Banks shut his Twitter account down. And he does the little laughing emoji. Yeah, I'm going to get to Brandon Banks next. I had a CFL guy write me this morning and said, I want the full breakdown of what happened between you and Brandon Banks on the weekend, and I want it on the show at 10 o'clock. So first, you tell me, because I'm sure you got some things you're going to talk about, and then I'll get into what was a rather delicious, fun weekend with Speedy B.
Yeah, I mean, it's just impressive what Winnipeg was able to do. That's just, wanted to make sure we mentioned that, and we're going to give them enough kudos throughout the morning, I'm sure, with everybody that comes on. But man, did they come out and just, Hamilton didn't look like the same team that played all year.
Brutalized them. I think that's the best term.
Yeah, there was no answer. So whether that's Richie Hall and Paul LaPolice, because it was not just offense, it was defensively too, that Hamilton didn't have an answer at all. And Zach Collaros did enough, did what he needed to do, and Chris Streveler came in and took a couple of big shots too, and played well. It was impressive. And even when you think you've got Winnipeg figured out, they put in Chris Streveler and he throws for a first down.
Didn't see that one coming.
Didn't see that coming. So very kudos to Paul LaPolice. 6 sacks for the defense, 4 turnovers in the first quarter. It was impressive.
7 on the day overall, I think. So thanks everybody for joining us for coffee this morning. We had a lot to get to here today. My friend Joe Lazito is watching from Long Island, New York today, and he says, #I stand with Rod Peterson. Thank you, Joe. He's obviously moved on from his I Stand With Don Cherry hashtag and moved on to me. So here's how the thing went with Brandon Banks and me, and I honestly don't even know how this became a story. One thing about social media, and particularly Twitter, it helps with boredom. So I was going up to a little town outside Yorkton on Friday to speak on to the RM, the rural municipality of Calder. I checked into a hotel Friday afternoon, and I was bored. And I was thinking about those conversations that I'd had on the program with Travis Lulay and some of the guys on Friday about Cody Fajardo not winning Most Outstanding Player. And when he didn't win it Thursday night, I was okay with it because it's a vote. It's a democracy. How are you going to bitch about that? But then through the show Friday, I got more and more ticked off that he didn't win just because I love him so much. And I think what he did was pretty outstanding. If you want to go by the term of the Most Outstanding Player, what Cody Fajardo did was outstanding. If you all want to go by stats, which is what it's voted upon, Speedy B had 1,500 yards. That was outstanding too. Yeah. But I just think what Cody did by single-handedly saving this franchise was outstanding and getting them to their first pennant since 2009, most wins since 1970. That's outstanding. So to me, that would be Most Outstanding Player. I put that on Twitter. And then watch the hilarity ensue from media, coaches of other teams, and a lot of fans. But I know a lot of people agreed with me because there was 600 plus likes on that tweet. And I'm like, this is cool. And then I go and do the dinner on the Friday night and the speaking, and it was great. Then I get up on Saturday morning to have breakfast and have coffee in Yorkton, and all of a sudden my phone's going off like a slot machine. Ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what'd I win, Bob? It's Brandon Speedy Banks going off on me and says that us Saskatchewan people can't get over them winning. I guess we could have put the tweet up, but everybody's seen it by now. And then he says, our quarterback's better than y'all quarterback anyhow. Like I kind of got a kick out of it. And to be honest, he was liking my tweets. I was liking his. I'm thinking, this is entertainment, right? This is fun. This is what we do. This isn't real. This isn't serious. Like you can literally say whatever the hell you want about me. I'm not going to get offended. Trust me, because people do. I thought we were playing that game. And then from the last time Banks and I got into it over the Simone Lawrence thing, I meant to say, I was so upset. I'm like, I meant to say, I can't hear you because my 2 Grey Cup rings are plugging my ears. The Patrick Waugh line.
Yeah.
I didn't say it then, but I knew he'd come back. I knew he'd come back at some point at me, and he did. And it just so happened to be the day before Grey Cup Sunday. And then all for the next 2 days, I didn't say a lot. As producer Clark said, you were just sticking up for Cody. That's all I was doing. I was promoting Cody pumping his tires. And Bang's head just explodes. And of course, it came into this. People are saying, you're getting off your game. You should be thinking about the game, not Rod. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm already thinking that. Like, what are you talking to me? Who the hell am I? Have you people not figured out yet? I should not be listened to. How many times have I said that? But they can't help themselves. If you'd ignored me, I'd go away. But they can't. And then I guess Sunday morning, because I wasn't near Twitter, I was busy. I wasn't bored. I guess Speedy B fired up the Twitter thing again on Sunday morning. He was getting after it with people. And then unfortunately for him, frankly, in the game, he gets hurt. Because, here's the thing. It's a 45-man game. You can't do it alone. He was ready to have a breakout game. He was balling when he was healthy, and then he got knocked out of the game. And that's when everybody jumped on him about the karma stuff. And here we are. And nobody's heard from him since because he deleted his account. I guess that's the big thing. Or suspended it or whatever. I don't know how you do that because I don't hide. You want to bring it? Bring it. I can handle it. I'm not deleting my account. I don't have a burner. I got balls. I'm not saying Speedy B doesn't. I'm saying people with burner accounts that troll don't. The guy's got balls. Obviously, he's the most outstanding player in the CFL. He's been great for a long time. But he's hurting, and I don't like that. I don't like anybody to be. See my point about I thought this was fun? I thought this was WWF, Bobby the Brain Heenan stuff?
Well, it should be. Yeah, that's
what I thought.
No, I get it. For sure I do. That's funny. Are you going to get a Grey Cup ring?
Why?
Because I think that is a big contributing factor. I think Winnipeg had this one when this whole Twitter thing started. They were off. They're not even focused on the game. Should have been in the playbook. Should have been in the meeting rooms.
Well, I think some of the things that I said about the Bombers sufficiently motivated them all year. So you're welcome.
At least a replica for the desk.
I got two, and I'm very fortunate to have those. I'm good. Hell, Speedy B got into how the rings on the header of my Twitter look like I bought them and they look cheap. It don't matter. They all mean the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I like the Richard Pargeter writes in, you're the man, Rod. Thank you, Richard. I was just doing it for fun. From Tom Geiger, absolutely the perfect response, Rod. I just found it hilarious that we're not even at Grey Cup. And we're leading the discussion. That's some funny stuff.
Unbelievable. Yeah, between that and all the things throughout the weekend, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable weekend, and it was great. I mean, the stadium aside, and I know that's a big issue in Calgary, that they need a new stadium, and that is this really Grey Cup worthy, and is it going to lose a little bit of the luster? Because that's part of the storyline that we didn't get into a lot. It wasn't a huge topic, but from people who I knew were there, my phone was going with text messages, and that was the message was, this is it. This stadium is worse than old Mosaic, and this is where the Grey Cup is. But on TV,
it looked good.
It looked great. I think
that's what TSN does and the CFL.
And you know what? And I've seen the stadium and the work that they've done in Calgary throughout my time, whether it was in the Canada West playoffs or the Mitchell Bowl, seeing it start to come together. They did a good job at dressing up that stadium.
Brooke Andrusik watching from Elkridge, BC. Is it Elkridge, BC? Brooke, correct me on that if I'm wrong. He says, Andrew Harris crying about all the haters. News alert, he tested positive for PEDs. And I wanted to get into that here in the rollout for Flooring Superstore. And we'll do that when we bring Amanda on set here in segment 2 of the bunker, because we don't have enough time in the rollout to get into that. But I will just say this about Andrew Harris, for those that are, our podcast listeners here and so forth that have hung on through segment 1. Clearly they love Andrew Harris within that Winnipeg locker room. Clearly they love Andrew Harris within that city. And clearly he's a phenomenal football player. This is not a hill that I want to die on. I really don't care how this plays out. It's not my team. Roger Clemens, A-Rod, Ben Johnson, all those guys, it's tainted them forever. Forever. I mentioned a couple weeks ago, A-Rod never won an All-Star, never won a Gold Glove, never won a Silver Slugger after he was suspended for steroid use. If Andrew Harris only had to pay for till the end of one season, I think that's pretty good. Rather than his whole career. Like, to date, if he's going into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, which he is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Grey Cup champion. Well, he might be the greatest Canadian of all time. Nobody's arguing that. That's the problem that I had with the Bombers, that they were writing me about why can't you move on from this? He served his time. I'm like, it's not up to you guys to decide when it's over. It's up to the public's perception as to when it's over and when he's paid his price.
If the public's talking about it, it becomes a topic that we have to address.
Right. So I guess he served his sentence because he was the most outstanding player of the game. He was the most Canadian, first guy to ever do that, and he earned it. I don't know enough about steroids, thankfully, to know that, are they still in his system? Is he still getting the benefit from them? Hey, you want to talk heroin, meth, cocaine, marijuana? I'm your guy. I can talk about that because I have a diploma in it. This stuff is in your system from 12 hours to 30 days. I don't know about steroids. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, he was caught, and he did pay the 2-game price, but I don't think the public and the media are done with him yet. I think they're done with him now.
I think they have to be done with him now.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
You should be happy if it's only to the end of the season, because for these other big names, it still taints them. A-Rod thinks it cost him $40 million.
Right. But we can't control how it makes us feel. And, for Andrew Harris, that was still a big thing for him. And, we might have moved on. We might be done. He might be off the mat, but he still feels that everybody's on top of him about it and that it's still a big topic, and feels like he exercised some demons. You know what? Yeah, maybe you're not in for the league awards. Maybe people don't vote on you for whatever reasons. They don't feel right about it, and that's fine. But you're in the game. And you're in the game, and that's your opportunity to prove that you are still capable of playing at a high level, and you can't take it away from him. And I tweeted it early in the football game when he scored the second touchdown. Did he just win MVP of the football game? And it held up. Usually those things don't hold up, but it held up. And
it aged well.
It aged well. He earned it. And he very well is eligible to be the MVP.
I'm sorry, we could go on so long on the. Tom writes in and he says, Tom Geiger says, Andrew had the opportunity at the end of the game to say the right thing, had the right opportunity twice, and he blew it. Well, yes and no. I mean, he said, this is for the haters, screw you, which I thought was actually kind of cute. But it's similar to Darian after 2013. Everybody's at his stall at the locker room after the Riders won it, and they're expecting him to give some great monologue on winning it. And he's like, to all you haters, you know what you can do. And people weren't expecting that. They weren't expecting it from Harris either, but this is what they've lived with. And he talked about being kicked when he was down. I get how that would be simmering in him for so long. And he was down.
Yeah.
But he's not down anymore. He's a champion. And who really gives a rat's ass about these awards? You get a Grey Cup ring. We'll bring Amanda in. People are asking for her. Thanks for waiting, Amanda. Getting rolling. This has been the rollout for Flooring Superstore on The Rod Peterson Show on Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpeterson.com.
You're watching Rod Peterson On Demand. For more of The Rod Peterson Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Peterson on social media.